I'm sure it works.
Yeah.
I'm sure it works. We'll try it out anyway. We'll try it out real quick, Katie. Real fast.
Yep.
Yeah, it works. So yeah, tonight we are broadcasting live on two platforms. Be on Facebook and YouTube this evening as we get going here. I'll start the show.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 210. Oh, I forgot to turn my fucking phone off.
Shame on you.
I know, right? I usually give people shit for that. This is episode 210. Space weather, news at 11. Hope everybody's having a good week. Had a good week. For those of you not in the know, I had my birthday the end of the week last week. It wasn't very
I'm not on
exciting.
Facebook anymore. I miss these things. Dang
Ah,
it. Happy birthday, Chris. Dang
thank you.
it.
I don't do very well with it. I'm not a very good person about my birthday, so but I was sick.
Oh.
I had a shit morning as I left as I was leaving work, and then I got home and I got the fucking sweats and the chills. And I mean, it went away by nighttime, but I was just a mess. Absolute mess.
Bummer.
And it wiped me out so bad, it just put me in bed. So yeah, that was a rough time there. But you know, all is well. The world's still spinning, I suppose, for the present time. For the time being, we'll say. I'm sure it will still spin regardless of what we do on this fucking thing. But you know, it'll take some otherworldly force to cause that to fucking change. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Amy Exhale says, "Hi, good evening, Amy. Glad to see you." Yeah, at some point tonight we will get into the Crypto King documentary there. I've always said, like, we delve into the, you know, Fortean topics and paranormal topics, and but I have said for a long time now that people are the strangest fucking creatures on this planet, and the actions of some people are some of the most mysterious and strange things you will ever read about,
Oh, yeah.
and or you know, watch a documentary about. Which I watched through that again today. Did you get a chance to watch it over the weekend?
Yes, I did. I watched it last night and then I watched a couple little other videos about it today.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. It's like the little rabbit hole you wind up going down,
Yeah.
learning about this guy Gerald Cotton, or Jerry, as he was known by his closer associates, and what he did and what happened to him. I mean, for anybody that's ever invested any of their money, it's gotta stories like that have to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely scare the fucking shit out of you. Like, there's one guy that lost like $500,000, basically.
Yeah.
$500,000 just gone.
It stressed me out just hearing these people talk about what they lost. Like, oh man, that amount of money
Yeah.
just gone.
In a
Gone.
blink.
Yeah.
In a fucking blink.
Ugh.
So,
Makes you sick.
yeah. So update on the new art for the channel, and well, for the show and the like page. I have spoken with Fred. We've gotten him all the images that I do believe that he needs. And he told me that he should be able to get started on it pretty soon. He had some things that came up. He's got some health issues going on right now. I know he posts a lot of it on Facebook. I'm not gonna get into what he's told me. I don't know what's public and what's private. So, but I know he said that within the next few days he should be able to get started on it. He's hopeful, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. As soon as I've got anything to be able to show people, I will.
Yeah, I'm super stoked.
He said that because I asked him when he does images for people, he posts updates on his page as he's doing stuff. And I asked if he would be doing that with mine, and he was like, because I was like, you're more than welcome to do that, obviously, Fred.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, definitely, I'll do that. And I'm like, okay, good.
Cool.
So as soon as I have an update on that, I will definitely give it to all of you. But as of right now, that's all I know. I don't want to give too much away about the image to people. Just that I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. It's gonna be very fun.
I did ask him to put in the Mongolian deathworm. That was one thing I asked for. Give me Mongolian deathworm.
Yeah, I dig that.
That's I'm down for some Mongolian deathworm. And he seemed pretty excited about it. He liked the overall theme that I was going for. And I told, for the most part, with the exception of a few things, I told him to go crazy with it. Like I said,
Cool.
have fun.
Yeah.
I said these are the few things I want, the few images that I want in the drawing, and other than that, everything else that you see there that you're trying to not recreate but change, enjoy yourself, have a good fucking time. So
Well, he always does a good job, so that's some solid advice to just say, dude, do your best, because he
yeah,
always
just go.
does well. So
Yeah, and there's enough there for him to work with.
yeah.
To be able to create some good imagery.
Yeah, I'm
Some good
looking
new
forward
image
to it.
production.
It's very
Yeah.
exciting.
Me too. So there's that. I haven't really had a chance to nail down anything with anybody for shows. I've been trying to, but unfortunately, people are elusive on the internet these days. They're an elusive bunch. So I don't know. I don't know when I'll have another guest on the show. We'll see. I'll try to do better about that, because I'd like to have some more guests on the show. I would like to have some people to talk to.
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah, it just, and not all the time. I don't want it all the fucking time. I don't want
Right,
it all week. I don't want it every week. No, thank you. But every so often, having somebody on to be able to talk to, so that we don't have to. And it's not so that we don't have to do any work. It's not so that it's just, it gives you kind of a breather.
Yeah.
To be able to more have a conversation than try to create a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you and I can't have a conversation. We tend to talk a lot.
And it's fun to mix things up and
Yeah.
bring somebody new and a more like pointed topic to focus on. And
Absolutely. So I have tried to nail down a couple of people. I am going to ask Steve to come back on again sometime soon. Especially, I would like him to come on when we unveil the new image.
yeah,
Because
that would be super
he is
cool.
actually a part of that. I told him, as long as you were on the show, I mean, dude.
Yeah. You got to put them in there.
Yeah, I got to have you in there. So, and he was cool with it. And Phil was the only other person. So other than that, I'm reaching out to each and every fucking person that's ever fucking done the show or been a part of the show, or I'm good. I've had enough fun trying to track down all this shit and figure it all out. Um, hell, just trying to get in touch with Fred was fun in some cases.
Right.
Like I was messaging his wife, and she's like, his grandson had his phone and set all his messages to mute.
Oh.
I'm like, but yeah, it's been interesting. So, and
Connections take time sometimes.
yeah, so and things, I'm used to how things were initially when I got into doing all of this,
Yeah.
and back in 2012, 2011, like, I mean, I'd get in touch with somebody and they'd get right back to me. It was super fast. And nowadays, a lot of people are more disconnecting
Yeah.
from that type of stuff, which is fine. I get it. But when you're trying to, figure out what's going on with stuff, it can add a level of not so much frustration, but wonderment, like wondering
Yeah.
what the fuck,
Right.
what's going on? What are we
It
doing?
takes longer to nail anything down.
Right. So, but I get that. As we get older, people are just like, we're not as plugged in, and a lot of people are trying to unplug from this shit, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't blame them at all. I just happen to have this going on, so I'm trying to fucking keep things going.
Right. I mean, in a way, I've done that. I've gotten rid of most of my social media, but I still have a few little things that keep me a little connected. But I've put effort into withdrawing a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's healthy to a lot of degrees for people.
Yeah, for sure.
I encourage it. Like I said, I just have this. I have the like page, and I try to. There are weeks where I will try to like schedule everything out for a week ahead of schedule, and not even like look at anything, so that I can just like give myself a break
Yeah.
from it. But it's when you've got your finger on it, when it's your thing that you've made, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to let go of it.
No, that's totally understandable.
So, but I do have those weeks, like I said, where I'll schedule it out. I won't even think about it. I'll just go about my week, and hopefully not forget what fucking day I stopped it on. So that I
Right.
get back to scheduling it again. And then there's doing this, which is only once a week and does not take nearly up as much of my time as it used to.
Yeah.
I spent a lot more time doing shit for this show back before, and now I just kind of, I grab the news, I do that shit, and like tonight, we had decided to do a topic, so we both watched a documentary. I mean, Katie, I
Right.
think, probably went a little deeper than I did.
No, not much.
Yeah, probably not much, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm much more comfortable with that because listen, the 6. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. The 6 months I took off from doing this fucking show was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fucking nice. Not
Well,
having to think about it.
I'm actually, believe it or not, kind of torn because part of me is enjoying not doing the like deep dives and like taking time to type something up for you to read because sure, it's nice to not like have that to do because I'm busy, but I also kind of miss it because it was fun for me. Like that really was like something I enjoyed doing in my free time anyways, and like I had a reason to do it, so it was super fun. But
Right.
and I'm definitely open to it in the future, but I'm not gonna lie, I have enjoyed the less pressure, the less responsibility, you know.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's and that's why people hire production people,
Right. Yeah.
because they don't want to do this shit. They
Right.
don't want to do all the extra shit that they have to do. And listen, I've minimalized what I do for this show
Yeah.
every week. Like, it is very minimalistic now, especially now where I'm streaming to YouTube currently, and Facebook. I don't have to upload the show to YouTube now. But so all I've got to do is to send out the podcast RSS feed, is strip the audio out of it and send it to friggin' uh, Anchor or whatever, which is basically Spotify.
Yeah.
But that's all I got to do now, and it's great.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that much. I kick back, I relax, I enjoy my week. I get to do other things like read books and play video games. And I read books at work, so
Lucky guy, lucky guy.
yeah.
I'm pretty lucky too. I can't complain. I mean, I can't sit and read a book, but I do
Well,
have lots
then
of
listen,
good privileges.
for the record, I can't all the time.
Yeah.
It's just that it affords me time for that. So, but yeah, it's been. I did get thinking recently, like, because you get every once in a while you get thinking about mortality or your own mortality.
Yeah.
And I definitely recently got thinking about that because of certain things, and I was just like, you know what? Literally, like I got to a point where I was like, you know something? If it happened tomorrow, like if my clock gets punched tomorrow or today even, it's not like I haven't lived.
Yeah.
Like I've come to that realization, which I think is a good thing. Like
Yeah.
it's not like because I can look back on what I've done and what I've seen and what I've accomplished and the places I've been and the things I've done and go, I've had a fucking life.
Yeah.
Like I can't say I didn't get to do shit that I wanted to do. I can't say I didn't get to go places. Did I get to go have I been all of the places that I'd like to go? No. But have I gotten to go to a lot of the places that I've wanted to go? Yeah.
Yeah. And when you step back and look at the big picture, you're satisfied. And I think that does say a lot, because I think a lot of people would be full of regret and panic and, oh my gosh, I have so much more left I want to do.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
I think that is a really admirable, that's awesome that you can genuinely say that.
I can. I sat and thought about it for a really long time, and I was like, listen, I mean, that's not to get too much TMI, but like I've been with the women in my life that I've wanted. Like, that sounds kind of petty, but it's like I've been with people that have made me feel good about myself, and I can look back on all of that and enjoy those memories.
Yeah.
Like the things I've done. I've been skydiving. I've been fucking, I've traveled. I've been to the Caribbean. I haven't really been out of the country much, but I've fucking seen it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that I've learned about going places and checking shit out. You go there and it's not nearly as spectacular as you think.
Yeah.
There are a few exceptions.
Right.
One of them is the Grand Canyon.
I haven't made it there yet.
That it cannot be fucking described in a picture. I don't even think I can describe it to you in words, how it made me feel. All I can tell you is it's standing on the edge of that thing. That thing seems to swallow sound. Like it is very odd standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon. And yeah, it's an interesting time we have on this planet to be able to experience these things. And like I said, I can't, for some reason, well, I know why. Ultimately, I'm not gonna fucking tell you guys, but I in thinking about my own mortality, I was just like, yeah, like tomorrow, like I have no bitch, no complaint.
Yeah.
Would I like to be able to see if I'm gonna have any grandkids or whatever? Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely.
Right.
But can I at the end of the fucking day, can I complain if my fucking ticket gets punched at any point now? No, not really. It's like it's been a fun ride. I had a good time. I bought the
Right.
ticket. I took the ride. It was fun. We went up. We went down. We went all around. And now I'm ready for the finale. Let's fucking kick this pig. Like, it's going to be scary, I'm sure.
Right. Well, I'll be honest, maybe this is a weird interpretation, but I see that as like a great sign of like self-assuredness. You know what I mean? You're confident in who you are, where you've been, where you're going.
Well,
And it's admirable. A lot of people don't have that, Chris. You know what I mean? You're self-assured in yourself, and you've taken your lessons as they've come, and you're okay with who you are today. And I think that's great.
yeah. And listen, I've been a piece of shit, and I can accept that.
Well, who
I've-
hasn't? I mean, we've
I've-
all
right,
like
oh, yeah.
learned these lessons over time, you know.
I'm a recovering. I will always be a recovering addict. And there are people who question how I did that and how I live my life today. And all I have to say about that is I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
I don't have the issues with the poison of choice that I was killing myself with.
Right.
So
You found what works for you, and that's what's important.
yeah, and it is what it is. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to make excuses for it. It just is. And I've said, and here's the other thing that I've said about smoking weed. I have fucking been very blatant about the fact that I think that yes, I am addicted to it,
Yeah.
but that it's fucking way better than having the other shit around.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I learned when I did my little break from it was that, yeah, and listen, for the record, I may do one again at some point, but when I was on those breaks, and the reason I cut the second one short was because I started thinking about all my body pains.
Yeah.
And I don't like taking pills. People.
Right.
I don't like taking pills because pills were my problem. So I don't like taking pills, and I don't give a fuck what they are. I don't care if they're ibuprofen. I don't care if they're Tylenol. I don't give a shit what they are. I don't like doing it. So, I preferred, and what I realized was that by smoking, I don't think about my body pains. And it isn't like it goes away. I've never thought that smoking weed makes your body pains go away.
Right. But it's a big help.
Yeah, what I think it does is it makes you not think about it. You don't
Right.
give a shit about it. And I have a lot of shit that's going on with like my neck, shoulders, back, lower back. The fucking back's fucked. But and I don't like to think about it. It's easier not to think about it.
It like turns it into background noise instead of pain.
Yes. Exactly.
It's still there, but it's like back here, and it's okay. I can ignore it and focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah. And it's not like being on opiates.
Right.
Where you don't care because you're so euphorically high.
Right.
It's that you just don't think about it. Like you said, it becomes background noise.
Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect description of it.
Or even it's like taking your pain and like putting it in a drawer and shutting the drawer. And I'm like, okay, the pain's just over there in the drawer, and I still got it. It's still here, but it's just it's over there now.
It's in the fucking junk drawer.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, on to the fucking news for the evening, I suppose. From Cat Country 1073.com, snake research. I'm assuming that's supposed to say snake researcher. Says he had Bigfoot encounter in Chemung, New Jersey. A man doing some snake studies in the Pine Barrens says he believes he may have had an encounter with a Bigfoot in the Chemung area. Sure, it wasn't the Jersey Devil. The man, identified only as Jacob, filed the report with the Bigfoot Research Organization. He said the encounter happened in a very muddy area back in June of 2018. In the report, Jacob says he and another researcher, Cooper, were doing a study on snakes of the Pine Barrens when they encountered some pretty muddy and rough terrain. The hike there was pretty rough, walking through knee-deep wetlands at points and wrestling with tangles of greenbrier and other thorny bushes to get to the location, which was about 1.5 miles back in the woods. Here's what Jacob says he observed. As I was looking around, my friend went back behind me to look around or use the bathroom while I continued to look. I began to hear bipedal walking in the swamp below us, what sounded like sticks breaking and snapping. I was pretty freaked out thinking it was a hunter, so I yelled down at it saying, "Hello? Anyone there?" No response. As I continued to look, I saw part of a dark figure go from tree to tree. Long enough to know I wasn't imagining it, but not long enough to identify shape, size, and detail. My memory fails to remember exactly how tall off the ground it was, but the encounter lasted several seconds. From when I first heard the walking, saw the dark flash, and when it subsequently disappeared or stopped in the swamp. After this, I rounded up my friend and we headed out of there pretty quickly, not knowing if a nearby hunter was there, or worse, some crazy dude was stalking us. A few days went by before I really began to realize what I could have seen, and it just made little sense that someone out there was messing with us. Have since returned to the location to look some things over. Large game trails surround the dune, but other than that, not much further evidence was able to be found. Jacob says he also observed a musty odor in the air. Jacob's complete story and a follow-up by a local Bigfoot researcher can be found here, and there's a link. I'm not going to go there. But, yeah. Guess a snake researcher says he came in contact with Bigfoot. I don't know. There's not a lot of information there to that story.
Well, and there's not a whole lot of, I don't know, New Jersey just doesn't seem like the place to me.
A lot of bears in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. They are
I
bear
suppose.
fucking central.
Really?
Yeah, there's some fucking... The black bear problem that they've had in New Jersey with them just coming right into the rural areas.
Right.
Yeah, I know that's been a problem. Yeah, for a while.
Interesting.
But, I mean, I don't know. As far as that one goes, I don't fucking know.
Well, I don't know. It makes sense. It's a guy spending a bunch of time out in the woods doing research. So,
yeah.
I
I don't
suppose it's
know.
possible.
Anyway, our next story of the evening from the Sacramento Bee from sacbee.com. Ominous cloud seen over Alaska sparks conspiracies. What's the official explanation? A large worm-like cloud materialized this week over Alaska's Lazy Mountain, igniting conspiracy theories and prompting an investigation and explanation from Alaska state troopers. Don't worry, people, I will show you what it looks like. It happened around 7 a.m., Thursday, April 7th, and photos show the streak of smoke resembled everything from a falling meteor to a burning aircraft. Social media explanations included talk of an eruption, a crashing UFO, and a Russian weapon linked to the ongoing conflict over Ukraine. We saw this on the way to school this morning as well. Very eerie, Christy Hronkin Swift wrote on the Palmer, Alaska Buzz Facebook page. Looks like a meteor. I wonder where it landed, Cassie Joy posted. Could it be a satellite? It's so strange, Shannon Del Vecchio Watson said. No wings, Susie Kook Martin noted. Rumors of a possible plane crash eventually caught the attention of Alaska state troopers in the Alaska Rescue Coordination Center. There have been no reports of over-the-air aircraft or ELT activations indicating an aircraft crash. A rescue team on a helicopter flew a mission around the Lazy Mountain area this morning and located nothing suspicious, and there were no signs of crashed aircraft, Alaska state troopers reported in a release. Instead, officials offered a rather simple explanation for the jaw-dropping sight. Further investigation revealed that a large commercial jet was flying in that area around the time that the photos and video were taken. The aircraft was contacted and reported normal flight operations on its way to JFK Airport in New York. Troopers believe that the photos and videos showed a contrail from the commercial jet combined with the rising sun, which together caused the unique atmospheric sight. Commenters on social media immediately began trying to poke holes in that explanation, with some suggesting a government cover-up of a UFO crash and or secret weapon testing. The old swamp gas reflecting light from Venus story, one man wrote. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy could have come up with a better story than this, another said. Oh, God. But Eddie Zingone, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Anchorage, told the Anchorage Daily News that his best guess is it was just a very vivid contrail. First of all, how thick it is on one side. The bottom left part is much thicker, which is what we'd expect, he told the newspaper. And here, I'll show you guys what this looked like. There's different photos of it. So I'll show you this first. Share screen. Dun, dun, dun. There. That's that one. And then if you go up to the top, there's that image.
That is pretty fucking weird.
It's fucking weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's weird.
That's not what I was expecting.
No.
Go back up to the first one, will you?
This
Or do you have
first
more?
one's over here.
Oh, okay.
It's right there. I don't know if there's any more down here. Let me look. Nope, that's it. Just those two. Just those two.
Huh.
Yeah, that
Could
one
you
looks like it's a
imagine
plume.
being like on the school bus on the way to school and seeing that though?
Oh, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Right? That would be super crazy.
Yeah, I would definitely be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's fucking really weird, huh?
I don't have any intelligent thoughts to say about it, but it's super weird.
Our next story of the evening from iflscience.com. Iceland's huge 4-day working week trial an overwhelming success. A social experiment in Iceland has investigated the pros and cons of working a 4-day week. Like we didn't know that this was going to be a fucking success. Like I love it when they do these studies like that they've done like a bunch of already that
Right,
all say that we should work less and enjoy our time off more.
I'm pretty sure there's other countries that already do this.
Yes. Now the brains behind the trial have released a report, and the findings are quite something. Not only did people report feeling happier, healthier, and less stressed, many workplaces also became more productive. Oh my fucking God. The experiment was run by UK-based think tank Autonomy and the Association for Sustainability and Democracy, ALDA, in Iceland. The full report, released on Sunday, can be read here. There's a link. From 2015 to 2019, two large-scale trials saw 2,500 people in Iceland, more than 1% of the country's entire working population, cut their working hours from around 40 hours a week to 35 or 36 hours. The participants worked in a range of environments, including offices, shops, hospitals, daycare centers, etc., and involved those who worked a typical 9-to-5 day, as well as non-standard shift patterns. Throughout the trial, the researchers interviewed workers and gathered data on their well-being and changes to the workplace. The benefits were clear. People's well-being increased across a range of indicators, from perceived stress and risk of burnout to physical health and work-life balance. Most participants reported having more energy for other activities such as socializing, exercising, and hobbies, while explaining the cut in hours allowed them to spend more time with their families and made it easier to complete other home chores. These benefits were especially noticeable among the single-parent families included in the trials. Men in heterosexual partnerships also took on more housework and greater domestic responsibilities, sharing out the division of labor more evenly. I work less. For me, it is like a gift from the heavens, and I like it a lot, one participant said in an interview. Crucially, productivity was either maintained or improved in the majority of workplaces. The researchers put the improvement in productivity down to better morale at work. Morale has been good here and always has, but it got even better, a manager said. Much of the data is self-supported, and though there is what the report calls quantitative data, it's unclear how things like work efficacy increases were measured across the board. However, following the apparent success of the trial, unions were able to renegotiate working patterns, and now 86% of Iceland's workforce has moved to a shorter working week. The Icelandic shorter working week journey tells us that not only is it possible to work less in modern times, but that progressive change is possible too, Goldmunder D. Haraldson said, researcher at ALDA said in a statement. This study shows that the world's largest ever trial of a shorter working week in the public sector was by all measures an overwhelming success. It shows that the public sector is ripe for being a pioneer of shorter working weeks, and lessons can be learned for other governments, added Will Strong, director of research at Autonomy. I think it's great. And I think it's what we should work towards. I would like my kids to go into the workforce not working a fucking 5/6/7 fucking day work week.
Right.
I'd like to see them work like a 4-day work week. You know, have 3 days off a week. Enjoy your fucking time.
I'd honestly even be willing to say I don't think that doing 40 hours a week still, but within 4 days is really all that unacceptable. I would still even take that over, 5 days, 40 hours. If I know I'm getting that extra day, I'm willing to put in that extra hour and a half or whatever, on the 4 days.
I did it for a while. There was I worked for 2 different companies that did that. Where I worked 4-day work weeks, and it was great. It was absolutely great. One of the big problems was that they were labor-intensive jobs.
Yeah. So those are 10 hard hours.
10 hard hours for 4 days straight. So your first day off, you literally would recover.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even feel like a day off.
Yeah.
And that was the problem with that. Now, if it's something different, yeah, most definitely. But still, even having that 1 day off to recover, because those jobs being labor intensive in a 5-day work week setting, my first day off would have been the recovery day.
Right. And then you only got 1 day.
Yeah, it just, that type of shit beats you up.
Yeah.
But
with what I do, I know I can do it because there will be a lot of times where, if I got something going on and I need to take a day off, I don't want to use a vacation day. So I'll just make sure on those other 4 days that I'm not taking off, I stay over and I work extra, or I come in early and I work extra so that I can still get my 40-hour weekend, So like, I know I could totally work a 4-day week, 40 hours, and my work would be completely the same.
Right.
There's a lot of situations where it's totally doable.
Yeah, I think it should, and I think where applicable, people should work from home.
Yeah.
Especially single parents who need to be home for their kids.
Right.
Yeah. If we can work that out for them, it's in the jobs that it makes sense.
Right.
Like, there's certain jobs you can't.
I think the only suspicious caveat to that is that doesn't work for every personality either. Like, I know myself well enough to know that I can't be held accountable at home. I got way too many distractions at home that I'm not going to be devoted to my work like I am when I drive there and sit down at my desk.
I wonder how many little life hacks people use to make their company think that they were they were working.
Oh, so many, I'm sure. And I would be doing all of them if it were me.
Anyway, our next story of the evening from Sci-Fi, that's syfy.com. The space weather forecast might also predict aliens. If Earthlings are really not alone, then where are all the extraterrestrial life forms hanging out? Maybe you should check the space weather forecast. This doesn't mean hypothetical aliens, particular pizza-loving ones, only emerge with clear skies and starshine. However, they might not exist at all on a planet or moon, getting bombarded with plasma. Now a new space weather model could help scientists find out which exoplanets, most of which are too far away from us to measure their atmospheric chemistry, are most likely to be habitable. How their stars are predicted to behave may have an impact on the atmosphere, which can affect potential habitability. What is known as the path, particle acceleration and transport in the heliosphere model, was upgraded into the IPATH, improved path, model to give an idea of how particles travel and accelerate from stellar outbursts to the atmospheres of nearby planets. Researcher Vladimir Arapetian of NASA Goddard, who came up with the initial concept for iPath, co-authored a study recently published in Science Advances. iPath is a tool that calculates the formation of energetic protons and shock waves produced by coronal mass ejections. Yeah, that. Their strength depends on the speed of shock propagation. I have no fucking idea what he just said, Katie.
I don't either.
He told Sci-Fi Wire. I think this. I'm gonna cut this one short because I want to get into the story of the evening. We babbled a little bit tonight. This is cool because they, based on the weather that a planet has, they may be able to detect whether or not there's the presence of life, and that is pretty fucking neat.
Yeah.
I think everybody has a fascination with that whole idea of finding extraterrestrial life. Whether you're for or against it, I think you're either against it and scared that it's going to happen, or you don't want to admit that they're real. And I just say, look up at night and tell me that there isn't the possibility. It's pretty large, actually, by the way, of a possibility. I just think it's crazy. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff.
Even if we're not looking for like super intelligent, as smart as us or smarter, I mean, to think that there's not even like, microbial, little tiny organisms out in the universe besides us. Like, of course there is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally believe there is. And it's fucking neat. It's damn neat. That's all I know.
Yeah.
It's very cool that they're looking for this stuff. That new space telescope that they just put up there. I'm stoked about that.
Yeah.
Let's fucking find some aliens. I'm down.
Yeah. I'm glad there's a lot of people way smarter than me out trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, absolutely. And on to the topic du jour of the evening. I grabbed this from coindesk.com. The story behind Quadriga CX and Gerald Cotton, Netflix's crypto king. Now, I came across this as most people probably do with, shows like this. The trailer showed up somewhere, either on Netflix or on YouTube, and I was instantly like, okay, what the fuck? And I went into it pretty blank, not knowing anything about him. Excuse me. And what a ride.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some of this stuff and go in and out, and if you have anything, Katie, just throw it out. If you've got anything about this, because I don't want to wait until after if it's pertinent. Our story begins in December 2018 with Gerald Cotton, the founder of Canada's largest crypto exchange at the time, Quadriga CX. He and his new bride, Jennifer Robertson, go on a trip to India, where Cotton, who suffered from Crohn's disease, fell ill. Unfortunately, his health takes a turn for the worse, and he passes away shortly after being admitted to a hospital. A month later, Quadriga CX announces his passing in a statement credited to Robertson. Here's where the story gets strange. In the months leading to Cotton's death, customers had been complaining they couldn't get their money out of the exchange and were waiting weeks, if not months, to receive funds. One customer who spoke to CoinDesk at the time said, "There's a bunch of warning bells going off in most people's heads right now." Rightfully so, as it turned out on January 28th, the exchange went offline for maintenance, quote unquote. Soon after, a court filing first obtained by CoinDesk revealed that Quadriga CX owed customers $190 million, all dollar amounts throughout our U.S. Oh, it says all dollar amounts throughout the article. I'm going to assume are U.S. And what seemed to be the big kicker at the time, no one knew how to access the exchange's reserves. His widow stated in court that while she had Cotton's laptop, it was encrypted. She was never given the password or recovery key, and Cotton was the only person with control of Quadriga CX's cold storage system. And the story of Quadriga CX. Quadriga CX was started by Gerald Cotton and Michael Patron in Canada in 2013, focusing on local trades of Bitcoin. With a small staff, they expanded in 2014 to open a Bitcoin ATM in Vancouver, but had trouble raising funds and ran out of money in 2015 after a failed attempt to go public and list on the Canadian Securities Exchange. By 2016, plans to go public were abandoned. The legal counsel was let go, and all of the other directors had resigned from Quadriga CX, creating a one-man show with Cotton alone running the business. According to reports, Cotton ran the company from his laptop with no permanent office. But the company grew despite its rocky start as the price of Bitcoin surged in 2017 from 1,000 to nearly 20,000. People wanted a way to get in on the action, and the company grew to 350,000 customers, trading over $1 billion in assets. But the price surge wasn't to last. When Bitcoin crashed in 2018, customers wanted to cash out what they could, and that's where the trouble really began. You got anything yet, Katie?
No, not really. Not yet. It's a lot of
they
power
go
for
into-
one man to have.
They go into like who Gerald Cotton was. So Gerald Cotton was like this fucking nerdy guy. And he seemed from all accounts of what you see of him in like videos and stuff, he just seems like a normal nerdy ass guy.
Yeah.
Like if I was to look at that, that's what I'd say.
He definitely didn't look like a CEO of a company.
No. And he starts this thing and he's running it from his laptop and he's fucking making all this money and he's jet setting around the fucking world because he was doing all kinds of crazy shit and he was buying all kinds of fucking properties. A lot of, he was living the life of somebody who had a successful company, you could say. And then this happens. And nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Why there's no access to the Bitcoin wallets. And then all the conspiracy theories start.
Yeah.
Because he
how
died.
crazy is that though? Really the big thing that blows your mind is how is it possible that a literal multi-million-dollar company could have all of its safety eggs in that one basket? How does that happen? How does that happen?
And we're gonna tell you, folks.
It's so unbelievable.
It's so fucking heinous. It's so gross. So this dude creates this thing. And he does it with the help of this guy, Michael Patron, who, by the way, was a convicted felon, I do believe.
Yeah, he was. He's got a couple mugshots.
Yeah, he's got a couple under a different fucking name, by the way.
Yep.
Omar something.
Super suspicious.
And people were actually very scared to talk about him.
Yeah.
Now, I honestly don't think that he has anything to do with the ultimate end of this story. But that is one of the facts of this case.
Yeah.
The other fact is that Gerald died of Crohn's disease, which doesn't happen very often.
No,
and does seem very suspicious.
I'll be honest. I'm actually super familiar with Crohn's disease. I had a person in my life that got diagnosed with it, and it was a journey. And before, as I was watching it, I did think, well, if he got an abscess while he was over there in India and didn't have great medical care, I could see that happening.
Right.
But then they talked to the doctor. And then I was like, oh, well, like that scraps that whole possibility because he seemed like a very competent doctor.
Right.
So then I was like, oh, well, then, yeah, nope, that's super weird.
Yeah, because everybody thought that it was an exit scam, like that
Yeah.
that he was collecting everybody's money,
Faking
faking
his
his
death.
death, and then he was out. And then the theories went around about his wife. Did she party at his fucking funeral? Um, there's this elusive quadriga contractor who starts feeding information to the people in this chat group who are all in on all the conspiracy theories. And I think people do that too often. Go down and I love rabbit holes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love me a good conspiracy theory. I love it right up until that moment where it unravels in front of my eyes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even
Yeah.
then I love it. Even then I fucking love it. Like the John Teeter shit, I fell in all in, and then I loved watching it just all just crumble.
Yeah.
It too
It's
much
fun.
is too much is laid on that shit, and these people went all in. Everything was a conspiracy. Was the wife in on it? Did she help? Did she kill him? Did she poison him for the fucking money? Like, and
Well,
for the record, I think that a lot of what the wife has said is fishy. But I don't know.
yeah. I
She claims that they asked her about like the cash because he had a lot of cash,
yeah.
and she would say that he would bring in duffel bags of fucking cash into the house, and they were like, well, wasn't that kind of fucking suspicious? And she was like, well, he just said that this is what he did, and I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
and
that I would just accept that.
no. I wouldn't. I wouldn't accept that. But she did explain how he explained it to her, and he acted like there was a legitimate business explanation for it, and she bought it.
Yeah. Jody
But
Sutton asked, was there a body? Supposedly there
that's a
was.
tricky thing.
There's a death certificate and everything, but it was a closed casket.
Yeah. But she claims to
And
have held his hand while he died.
yes. So I don't know. I wasn't there. That's the thing. When it comes to these types of things, it you're basing it all on the evidence that's available.
Yeah.
And the evidence that's available, the reporter that went to India to check into his death seemed to think that everything was legit.
Yeah.
And he said, barring, exhuming his body and doing an autopsy and finding out what the fuck happened, like that's the only way we're going to get any more information.
Right, because some people speculated that she poisoned him.
Right.
And that she did it in India so she could get away with it. So
right.
But I think the other big kicker that's like a really important key to keep in mind is that all those chat groups and conspiracy theorists, majority of them were people who lost large amounts of money. They weren't just regular old people screwing around on Reddit. They were people who lost tons of money and came together to talk about what the fuck are we going to do?
Right. But at the same time, I think those groups create biases.
Oh, absolutely. It goes both ways. There's like a strength to that factor, but there's also a weakness to that factor.
Yeah. And
they were highly motivated, but they were highly biased.
Sometimes those little internet groups can ferret out some shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can be an annoying pain in the fucking balls.
Yeah. They can do harm sometimes too.
Yes, very correct.
Yeah.
So then people started looking into the crypto wallets, because if you have crypto and you are like an exchange like Gerald was, you will have what is known as a hot wallet, which is one that you can use like your credit card or your debit card. You can spend the money. And then
Yeah.
you'll have a cold storage wallet, which is not online.
Like a savings account.
But what people found was that Quadriga had no cold storage wallet. There was zero. And as they looked into more and more stuff, people started looking into. I think it was they found out more about Gerald by looking into Michael Patron. That's correct, right?
Yes, that's
On like hacker boards,
yes, right.
and scamming sites.
They found another company that got caught for scamming, and it ended
Right.
up linking back to Cotton, but they found
Right.
it by looking into Patton
Michael.
or whatever his name was.
So they go onto these sites and they find that Michael Patron is doing a lot of this conversing and working stuff out with this guy named Scepter.
Yeah.
And everybody starts looking into who Scepter is, and they can't find anything on any of these sites, and they keep looking. And finally they come around to this site where it lists an email address and a name of the person who opened the account Scepter, and it's Gerald Cotton. Now, this Scepter account has been running scams on people for years and years and years. With Michael Patron or Omar, whatever his fucking name was, and alone. I think a few weeks before the Quadriga website went up, this Scepter character asked someone if they could help him create a Bitcoin exchange website on one of these scam websites. And so when it came down to it, they found out that Gerald Cotton had been running scams on people since he was 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah. Way young.
And that the Quadriga CX Bitcoin exchange was literally a scam from the start. And what they found out through the Securities and Exchange Commission, what he was doing was he was taking people's money and investing it in Bitcoin himself and losing horrendously. When the market crashed was when he couldn't keep up with paying people back. So he basically gambled with all these people's money. He lost big time. And when he lost, he couldn't cover his bets anymore.
Yeah, he basically was running it like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. And he just bilked all these people out of millions of dollars. Like when it comes down to it, you hear all these people talk about Jerry, and what pissed me off the most watching the documentary the second time around, and I don't know if you were to watch it again, if you would feel this way. Her sister, when they cut to her sister in Nova Scotia, and she says, "Was Jerry a criminal mastermind?" I tell people, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. He was a fucking criminal mastermind. What the fuck are you talking about, you cunt?
Right. Well, and that got me a little bit because I didn't like her. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, I don't like her. But once I got done watching it and I like sat and like thought about it, documentaries are made in a way to make you feel a certain way. Like they want you to have a set. So I was like, okay, well, they wanted me not to like her.
Right, but she said
she
of her
said
own
that,
accord
right,
that
exactly.
she did not think that Jerry was a criminal mastermind. And I'm like,
Right.
well, wait a minute. He definitely was. He was
Right.
scamming people out of millions of dollars. That's kind of the definition of a criminal mastermind.
Well, and that's why I made it a point today to like go and search out for his wife. Like, okay, I don't need to hear her bitch sister talk for her. I want
Right.
to look at her while she's
Mm-hmm.
talking.
Correct.
And I can't make up my mind because I watched actually that same interview 3 times just to see if I could pick up on everything I could pick up on. And
Yeah.
I originally got really genuine vibes. Her body language is super genuine. All of her tells are actually like genuine tells. But I don't know, the more I watched it, the more I was open to the possibility of this bitch could be lying through her teeth, but I'm
Oh
still
yeah.
undecided. She could be super genuine and we could all be awful for,
Yeah, because listen, hey, if there was all that cash, who's to say she didn't know where the cash was?
right? Well, and she
You
really,
know?
when she talks about she genuinely didn't know. But then I don't know, she claimed to not know, and then they came out and she was like actually doing business with his business and like she was involved. So
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
and after she said she wasn't, I don't.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I don't know either. It's a very weird story. Look into it yourselves, people. See what you think. If it's something that interests you, obviously.
yeah,
I fall into these stories. I love this type of shit.
yeah.
It catches me. I'm done.
Well, and they
Um,
did it really well. I really think even, we gave a lot away here, but they put this documentary together really, really well.
oh yeah, most definitely, very well. And I'm trying to condense that down into a fucking, a much smaller form than
Right.
what they did. So, I don't do it nearly as much justice, but that's the
Yeah.
gist of the fucking story.
It's a good
Um,
watch. It was good.
oh, most definitely. And if you get a chance, definitely check out, The Hunt for the Crypto King there, Trust No One, or I think it's called. Um, it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. My new one that I'm on, which I have to watch tonight, the new episode comes out, is The Invisible Pilot, Katie.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that, but I think I'm going to wait till they're all out.
Oh, you're missing out. You're missing
It's the
out.
kind of
You should
gal I am,
you should
Chris.
no, you should watch the first one and the second one together. So that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna watch the first one and go, "What the fuck?" when you get to the end, and then you'll go, "All right, let's watch the second one."
Right. Well, that's why I want to wait for them all to be out.
I don't know if they can what the fuck me again after the first one. I really don't. I really fucking don't. Because I went into that one completely naked. Like, I went in not knowing a fucking thing. I watched the stupid little trailer they had about it, and I was like, okay, this looks cool. And I didn't even look into it. I knew nothing about it. And I went in and watched the first episode and went, what the fuck? So yeah, I've been waiting for the second episode.
Nice.
So there's that. But yeah, that was the show for the evening, folks. We hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to support us, you can go to anchor.fm/the Fortean Slip, or wherever you download podcasts. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, I think it's called. Fucking Pocket Cat. There's all kinds of them. Fucking look for us. Download the fucking show. Help us out. We really appreciate it. Go support Fred over at youtube.com/dreadfund and dreadfund.com. Hopefully, like I said, I'll have some new artwork to show you guys in the future. It will sit behind Katie and I as we do and or don't do the show. Maybe we don't do the show. Maybe you think we do a piss poor job of doing the show. I don't know. But that'll be the case. And check out the Facebook page, Things on Fire. It's back. I don't know what to tell you. I guess the ban is over. They've decided that I've been a bad boy long enough. The spankings will commence the next time I post something bad that they deem bad, I guess. I don't know. But go check out the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/the Fortean Slip. And hopefully I can get somebody on here in the near future. Like I said, I've been trying to get in touch with a few people, Bronx Johnny, Tactical Boy, Steve Calls, and I don't know. We'll see what I can do. We'll see what I can round up. Amy Exhale says, thank you both. Have a great week. No, thank you. And we will be back next Monday evening, with another show for everybody to tickle your fancy, your Fortean fancy. It's like a little feather on the bottom of your feet, just tickling away. Until then, see ya!